between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Lightning crackled during an unexpected downpour that arrived on a sparkling Hollywood night full of cheers and laughing. Jada Pinkett Smith made an apparently innocuous gesture that was at the center of this controversy. Will Smith is credited with nudging Chris Rock into standing up for his wife after she made a joke by rolling her eyes slightly. A chuckle broke out in the audience as Chris Rock directed a joke at Jada Pinkett Smith's shorn head. However, not everyone laughed at it, with Jada rolling eyes reflecting the clouds forming in the starry sky. Will Smith's hand had already touched Chris Rock's face with a clap that was louder than the cheers. The scene immediately conjured up an age-old story in which a woman is held accountable for a man's deeds. The following morning, tales describing Jada as the puppeteer and Will as the puppet responding to her silent, eye-rolling instruction flooded the newspapers. Some stories started to paint Will Smith as a perfect superstar, who, according to others, was driven to the brink by a single, uncomplicated act from his wife. Although the notion of a husband standing up for his wife is not new, the manner the narrative developed sparked a global firestorm of debates. Jada was surrounded by criticism, with some seeing her as an adulterous wife who had now provoked her husband to act out in public with just a simple eye roll. Debates on social media, talk shows, and even dinner tables resulted from the ongoing discussions. The eye roll that went viral, as some started to refer to it, demonstrated the impact that a seemingly little gesture might have by igniting a chain reaction that eventually caught on with the general population. Although many people saw Jada Pinkett Smith eye roll as a silent directive to her husband, the truth is probably far more nuanced. It was a scene that exposed the emotional bonds that people have, even when they are surrounded by stars. This incident brought to light how rapidly opinions may be formed, particularly about the connections of people who live in the public eye in Hollywood. The story gradually started to change as the smack's aftereffects subsided and the dust cleared. People began to interpret the episode as a reflection of Jada's deeper emotions rather than just her irrational outburst in response to a joke. The narrative emphasizes power dynamics in relationships and the quick succession of conclusions that frequently follow throughout. The discussions that were started by that one eye roll are still going strong as the stars continue to shine on Hollywood. This narrative demonstrates how Jada's simple disapproval might spiral out of control and become a tale of marital trouble. It also brought attention to the fine line that celebrities tread when a single word or response can set off a furor of public opinion. In addition, despite the Hollywood backdrop, it demonstrated the resilience of relationships in the face of criticism, as demonstrated by Will Smith's natural desire to shield his wife. Over the next few days, as conversations kept getting more complicated, so did our comprehension of the intricacies involved in that little instant. The story started to take a more varied turn, exploring more complex topics like deference, personal limits, and the influence of public opinion on private life. The episode highlighted the value of empathy and understanding, not just among the stars, despite the mayhem that followed, but also among the onlookers. As this episode comes to an end, the focus moves from the drama to a more in-depth discussion that delves into the complex relationships in the narratives we create around them. And this chapter reminds us of the delicate ballet of emotions and reactions that takes place on the world's most glittering stage, where a slight roll of the eye can result in a scene that becomes a global sensation. As Hollywood continues to hum with its endless narratives, the episode painted a clear picture of how feelings may lead to behaviors that reverberate much beyond the boundaries of the individual and into the fabric of public debate. Together, the slap, the joke, and the eye roll created a concoction of reactions that had people thinking, discussing, and conversing. The show also provided insight into the pressures put on famous people to maintain their composure in the intense limelight, even when it crosses personal lines. It illustrated how a brief oversight could set off a story that weaves across many aspects of cultural presumptions and judgments. It also revealed the human aspect of Hollywood's glittering culture. Beneath the glittering exterior is a world of feelings, responses, and connections that are as big as genuine and intricate as they are for anybody else. Even with its glitzy exterior, the incident reflected the values of solidarity, safety, and respect that underpin all human relationships. a deeper comprehension of the complex dynamics that take place in the public light surfaced as the talks subsided. It also made people think about how much of a duty it is for spectators and pundits to comprehend the breadth of what takes place on the big stage in a split second. And the incident's aftereffects continued to ripple through the public discourse corridors as the lights went down on this performance, leaving a legacy that will live on in Hollywood legend. The tale will always be engrossing, with all of its subtleties and colors, giving a peek into the true nature of people that lies beyond the dazzling cloak of celebrity. The Will Smith and Chris Rock incident, along with Jada Pinkett Smith's understated but impactful response, served as a lens through which the public's perceptions of respect, intimate relationships, and proper behavior were mirrored and examined. The story went beyond the present situation and sparked a variety of conversations that explored the essence of what it means to defend those you love, and investigated the incident's various facets. It was more than a misplaced joke or an international slap. It developed into a story that provided opportunities to talk about the expectations people have of one another, particularly those in the spotlight, and the basic human emotions that drive behavior. It frequently goes beyond the exterior of prepared public personas. The conversation that is developing also clarifies the mechanics of power in interpersonal relationships and illustrates how a small gesture can set off events that have a lasting impact on society. The notion that a woman's response serves as a catalyst for a man's conduct was examined, argued, and explored. With the incident's chapter gradually coming to an end, it leaves a trail of conversations, insights, and a greater comprehension of the complex web of private connections and public identities. That night's echoes still reverberate, providing a narrative that is multi-layered with human emotions, social expectations, and the ongoing dance between the private and the public. It's a story that provokes thought and calls for a closer examination of the complex nature of interpersonal relationships, both off and on Hollywood's famous stage. As this gripping chapter of Hollywood drama comes to an end, lessons, conversations, and observations abound about the legacy this tragedy leaves behind. Millions of people will remember the night when laughter was answered with a firm smack and an eye roll that reverberated through their hearts as a story that descended below Hollywood's glittering exterior and into the deepest recesses of human emotions and social conventions. The altercation involving Will Smith, Chris Rock, and Jada Pinkett Smith was more than simply a brief episode of intense feelings. It served as a mirror reflecting the intricate interactions between relationships, comedy, respect, and the unwavering scrutiny of the public. As a result, the story of that starry night never gets old, inspiring reflection on the profundities of silence, the influence of small actions, and the weight of standing up for what's right. The conversation eventually becomes part of a larger story about social conversations, but not before leaving a lasting impression on Hollywood history, as well as on the emotions and thoughts of those who were present when the drama played out under the stars.